Welcome back. We're very happy to have you with us. We're continuing our video reflections here for the third Sunday of Advent. We're going to continue from John's Gospel. It's definitely not take 3, we promise, but if it is, it doesn't matter anyway. So Amy's going to read down from John's Gospel.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. A man named John was sent from God. He came for testimony, to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to testify to the light. And this is the testimony of John. When the Jews from Jerusalem sent priests and Levites to him to ask him, "Who are you?" he admitted and did not deny it, but admitted, "I am not the Christ." So they asked him, "What are you then? Are you Elijah?" And he said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." So they said to him, "Who are you, so that we can give an answer to those who sent us? What do you have to say for yourself?" He said, "I am the voice of one crying out in the desert, 'Make straight the way of the Lord,' as Isaiah the prophet said." Some Pharisees were also sent. They asked him, "Why then do you baptize if you are not the Christ or Elijah or the prophet?" John answered them, "I baptize with water, but there is one among you who you do not recognize, the one who is coming after me, whose sandal strap I am not worthy to untie." This happened in Bethany across the Jordan, where John was baptizing. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. So we have this wonderful reading from John. And what's the chapter? It's chapter 1, but what verses are they?
6 through 8 and 19 through 28.
Okay. And chapter 1 of John's Gospel is worth reading in its entirety. It used to be present in every weekend Mass all the time. They used to read it at the end. And then now it's only Christmas Day. So we have readings on, getting ahead of ourselves, we have readings most of the time. If you notice, if you go on Saturday evening to Mass, they're the same readings as on Sunday morning. So you would only go once a weekend, obviously. In that way, Saturday evening or Sunday morning to the Sunday liturgy. Some special holidays, Easter, Pentecost, and others have vigil readings and day readings. Christmas is unique because it has 4 readings. It has Mass in the evening, Mass at night, on Christmas Eve, and then it has Mass at dawn and Christmas during the day. Those are all of them, Amy, right? Yes. I don't know which ones I said twice or not. So you have Christmas Day readings, and a lot of times you'll still hear, priests or deacons or whoever's preaching, they'll prefer one reading or the other. Always we prefer on Christmas Eve the nativity readings, and those readings just say Mass at midnight. They don't say Mass at Mass at night, not Mass at midnight. So you can use them as soon as it's dark. So it is interesting because that's the only one that has the nativity readings in it, if my memory hasn't failed me completely, and it's in question sometimes. And sometimes people will even use those on the Christmas Day because they really want to identify the Christmas experience with those readings from Luke's Gospel, the nativity readings. However, I think this is a great disservice in some sense. The Mass of the day on Christmas Day is John 1, and it is so powerful. I even had someone say to me one time, another cleric, "Why would you even read from John 1 on Christmas Day?" And they were really complaining because it doesn't mention the Nativity specifically. But in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh and dwelled among us. That's what we're celebrating with our whole selves on Epiphany too, but originally, but now on Christmas on the 25th of December. So we say thank you for the gift of this great chapter. Now I've just spent several minutes now talking to you about something that's not even in these readings, but my advice to you is to put this reading in context. Read the whole first chapter of John's Gospel and do it often. I think I may even have it listed as the one I want for my funeral Mass. Hopefully none of you will be there at it. It'll be a long time from now. But I really love it, and it's essential to us. These readings are so powerful. And John the Baptist is an amazing figure in Christian life. We had a beautiful speech at our liturgy committee meeting from one of our liturgy committee members the other day about, it was really wonderful. We just all smiled because this delightful woman really just unpacked the great wonder, and even better than I've ever heard anyone do it, really. of John. And she didn't include what I'm going to say now, but John was this amazing figure in the sense that he did something that's really and truly extraordinary, especially for human beings today. But certainly consistently, this is a challenge for all human beings, is he was willing to, he knew who he was, and he knew what role he played in his life. So well that he didn't have any problem at all decreasing. He didn't have any problem at all diminishing. He didn't have any problem at all saying the one coming after me is greater than me. How many of us can say that? We have situations now in football and politics when everything is like, well, you know, the referees ruined a good play. by calling it back on a clear penalty. I'm not making fun of the Chiefs in any way whatsoever about the game, but it's just right there in my brain. But we do it in politics too. We do it. It's okay for me to break the law. After all, I'm the one who should be president. I'm the one who should be this. I'm the one who should be that. It's okay if I lied. I should be voted into Congress. These things are astonishing cultural events in some sense that would have been unthinkable even just a few decades ago, maybe even just 25 years ago, that we would look at something and say that I can do whatever I want. After all, the end I'm seeking is so good that it doesn't matter how I get there. This is very, very, very un-Catholic, very un-Christian way of thinking. We always have to consider that it is never okay that we do evil that good may come from it. It is never okay that we do something evil that good may come of it. The ends do not justify the means is the classical way of saying this. That is something that we talk about. And like I said, I'm not picking on anybody specifically, but it seems to be something that we just do all the time. I need to get elected, so it doesn't matter what I say. And it's not just one person, it's many. It's just happening all the time. But John is an example for us of a person who understood that his job was to announce, to proclaim that the person coming after me is greater than me. How many of us know and understand our roles in the world with that kind of clarity and with peace? It certainly is not any clarity that comes from human beings, because any human being in John's corner probably would be saying, now listen, you got to market yourself this way, John, blah, 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 so that you don't, and that's not what he does. He understands that his role has been fulfilled. He understands that his work has been accomplished, and he sends his own followers to follow someone who he knows is to be more than he is himself. That's a great, great virtue. That is an amazing thing. The other thing John does is he's kind of this man who always leaves God's presence and goes into human presence. And we have to think about that with Mass especially. If you enjoy going to Mass, and we hope you do, wherever you are, if you gain something from it, understand, first of all, that gaining and that what you get at Mass and Eucharist itself, the word we receive, that we receive Christ substantially in word and in sacrament. When we receive Him in those ways, do we go out and share it? Do we go out and celebrate it? Do we go out and proclaim it? We don't ever come to Mass for a selfish purpose. We come not for a sanctification for myself, but for a sanctification for service. And John, again, is a great model and reminder of that. Whatever I gain from God, I gain to build up, to bring together, to preach, to proclaim. Never to be harsh, never to condemn, never to cut down. Always, always, always to continue to do that wonderful work that God calls us to. So I'll leave you there at that point with that, and we will see you again. We'll do a reflection next week for the fourth Sunday of Advent and Christmas kind of combined. And we will and I probably will read the first chapter next week from John's Gospel, just because I just adore it. For me, it's the greatest thing written down. I would say that about many things in John's Gospel, but that one actually probably says things about our life of faith, our theological life, in a way that just it can't be beat. It's just so beautiful. So if you haven't this Christmas or Advent season so far, but definitely during Christmas you'll have an occasion to hear more from the first chapter of John's Gospel. But go ahead and read it if you can at some point, just to get it really fresh in your mind, and read it. I mean, it should be an Advent ritual for us, or at least Christmas, to pore over that first chapter of John's Gospel. It's so wonderful. There you go. So thank you again very much, and we hope you have a wonderful week wherever you are. Stay warm. It's very cold here today and windy, so we hope where you are that you're not experiencing any difficult weather. So very good.